Good morning, Leadworks engineers. Today we have another exciting episode of Weekend Workshop where we discuss the ongoing development of Leadworks version 5. It's almost here, very close to the finish line. The Steam store page is actually going to go up after the summer sale ends. I was going to do it last week, but then I saw on the calendar that last week was Steam Next Fest, and so the whole Steam interface is going to be redone to funnel all the traffic into that. And then we have a week off, and then I have a feeling that the Steam summer sale might be soon. Nobody knows the exact release dates, the exact dates for that, but I have a feeling it might be soon. And I also think the week, everybody knows not to release anything during the summer sale. But I think there's going to be an unusually high number of games released the week after the summer sale. Because everybody's waiting. So I'm actually going to wait like a week. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do it right after the summer sale. I'm going to wait a week, let everybody put their games on that week because I think it's going to be abnormally high. And then I'll release the Steam page. And waiting sucks, but 6 months from now, I'm not going to care. I won't care that it was a few weeks later, but I will care if it launched during a bad time and got low traffic. That I will care about for a very long time. And of course, the whole challenge here is, I've been struggling for a long time to figure out, well, what lever do I pull to increase sales on Steam? And the answer is, well, that's pretty much locked in at launch. So now that we know how things work, yes, thank you. Now that we know how things work, then we can make good decisions. So I started working on so I wrote a bunch of art tutorials about the editor, and this is sort of like going over the different areas of the editor. It's focused on the UI, explaining what each section of it does. But it's kind of hard to find information in that. It's kind of I've been thinking about what do I want the person to actually see when they first, start the program for the first time. And so I added this section I'm calling Crash Course, and this is more task based. And it was hard to figure this out, but then once I did, I think I have a pretty good set of articles here, and it just sort of takes you from the very beginning. And it's meant to teach you one step at a time how every aspect of the editor works. And I don't try to explain every little thing. I just try to explain the important things. I'm using a lot of animated GIFs. And then I'm making a video at the start of each article in addition to that. So we start with, just getting started. And that has basic viewport navigation and creating your project, of course. Creating primitives. I mean, that GIF right there just communicates so much. And they're the GIFs like this they turn out to be about 1 megabyte each, so it's not too bad. And then I talk about the mouse tools, the translation, the rotation, the scaling, selection, face tool, without going into too much detail, just focusing on the editing aspect of it, vertex tool. Then I felt like Boolean operations were a good thing to have next. So that's just the carve and the hollow options. And then I did a section about entity properties. Not trying to explain, I don't explain every little thing in the video. It's really a judgment call, because if you explain every single thing, then it becomes extremely tedious and it's too much information, and information will get lost if you try to include too much. Materials, just including the things that I feel that are really important in the video. And then I felt texture mapping was a good next subject. This explains how texture lock works. I think the next section is going to be material painting, and I haven't written that yet. And then I'll talk about 3D models. This isn't complete, no video yet. Lighting will come next. And I think I'll put the environment maps in there so we can fit skyboxes in there too. Then I'll talk about terrain editing, vegetation system, and then talk about the entity component system and have a simple script example where just to show like how values are exposed. And then I think the last section will be the flow graph events, showing how you connect things to make things happen without getting into a specific game. But I think that's going to be, and so I think this will be like about 30 or 40, it'll probably be about 40 minutes of videos. But the thing is, like, if somebody goes through this and watches those videos, at the end of that, they're pretty much an expert. Like, they know how to use the whole program. So, yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts on this and see if I'm missing anything important or if there's anything in here that shouldn't be in there, because it's really like we can't pack everything into that. I just want like the most important like 80% of what you need to know to use the program, and the rest is just details. Because if we add too much details, then people won't pay attention to that and they won't learn anything. So, any thoughts on this?
This may be too much for the crash course, but in the LeadWorks LeadWorks 4 texture tutorials, there was a section about like cube maps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan? Would it be like necessary or be useful to communicate how to generate HDRI images or cube maps in LeadWorks 5, like you did in LeadWorks 4?
That could be packed in. That could be part of the lighting in article. Because if I'm going to
Right.
talk about the environment maps there, it could be. For the most part, I think just telling people like just you can get these from the downloads manager.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, you just because most people just want pre-made assets, but there's um like with the LeadWorks stuff, there was always that like one bit of information like I needed like or I was actually on the LeadWorks 4 Learn page yesterday, and I just found out that there was a drop down there was a widget you could assign to the components or the components at the time, where it was a drop down list, but you can edit, but it was also a string.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I did not know that.
It's an
Like,
editable combo box.
yes, yes. I was like, oh, it's like I've been using Lovebox for the last like 10 years, and I never knew that it
Yeah.
existed.
Um,
Because
and also there's also some stuff that the written articles are meant to be a little bit more detailed than the video,
right,
because some stuff just doesn't work very well as a video. Um,
right, like the compression methods and everything.
yeah, I'm not going to talk about that in a video because that's just like way too much information. And ideally, it should be automatically handled. Yeah, and then I think the video. I think the video. I'm gonna like pack all of that together into a single video, and that's gonna be one of the videos on the Steam page. And then there's gonna be another video that's gonna be me on camera holding up my game, the little DVD case for my first game. I'm gonna say like, "Hi, I'm the developer of Leadworks. This is the first game I ever made, and I want to help you create your first game." Um, then I'm gonna say like, Leadworks is my secret weapon for rapid development, and I want to teach you I want to teach you everything I know about about making games. Uh, we'll start with these built-in level design tools, blah blah blah, blah. And then talk about features for a little bit, and then talk about tutorials, and just try to be very like reassuring, like and I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. And then I want to talk about the indie games bundle. So you guys that have anybody here who has your game in the Leadworks games bundle on Steam, that's going to go over. I'll do a new one, and I'll put it for the new Leadworks page. And your sales, you can whatever portion of your sales you're getting from from bundle sales. When I do that, when Ledworks 5 launches, you can expect your sales, that portion of your sales, to go up probably like 3 times, maybe more. So actually, like, being able to put your games in that bundle is actually like a major benefit, because visibility is such a problem on Steam. And I know Godot has a free version on Steam, but they can't do a bundle because it's a free product. So that's actually like a major benefit that I want to promote. And I was kind of like looking for something like that, with Steam. Like, how can I, make a way for people to monetize, through Steam? How can I, facilitate that? And we had the Ledworks game launcher, which wasn't really a good idea, and we had the Steam Workshop, which didn't really work very well. But the games bundle, that has worked really well, and it actually does result in you guys actually making money going directly into your pockets as a result of that. So I'll say something like, I'm happy to share the success I have on Steam with you. Games that are selected in the bundle will show up right on the Steam store page, on the Ledworks Steam store page. So
Do you plan to do like like a trailer like you did in like Ledworks 4, that 2015 trailer? I think that was really good.
I might include, like, yeah, I was thinking about, like, because I'm going to be talking a lot. I might have, like, join the thousands of other developers who have discovered the simplicity and power of Ledworks,
Yeah.
and show, like, a montage of your guys' work, because it's pretty. There's a lot of variety there, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about tutorials, I probably need to show, like, the old Ledworks, like, Marble Game, and, like, we have some RPG footage and stuff, because I haven't made any of that stuff, and I don't think I can make a mock-up of it that will be very good, like, quickly. So I can probably splice together some old footage, and that'll be fine. And then the last thing I'll say is, like, I believe that with the right teacher and the right tools, anyone can bring their creative vision to life. I hope to see you soon in the first tutorial. And remember, keep developing. So I'm very much like selling myself as, I will be your guide. I'm a game developer. I'm going to teach you. And so it's very... the educational aspect of that is very, very big. And I'm actually, like, the thought occurred to me, it might actually be better to call it Ledworks Game Studio.
Maybe.
I don't think game engine is a good word. I don't think there's a lot of positive connotations with the term game engine. When I hear that, I just think of some, like, abandoned GitHub repository.
Maybe.
Or something that has, like, a bunch of technical issues, and, like, it's like somebody trying to pawn something off on you. Like, hey,
Right.
man, I made a game engine. Do you want to try it? That's like having Jehovah's Witnesses at your door.
Yeah. Well, again, like there's so many different engines. I think of like the old like Quick stuff and everything, where everything was like there's an engine, but there's all these external tools. You're selling like You're selling like an experience, and that leads into my next question. Did you consider pulling your tutorials and making them readable in the editor?
I don't understand your question.
So instead of going to ledworks.com/learn, they can just read the documentation right from the editor.
Not at this time. I don't know if that would be worthwhile. The videos, yeah, because
Right.
and the video player is going to open up by default. But and that's because, like, it's so hard to if I don't have that, like, front and center, people will just go to youtube.com and they won't be able to find what they're looking for, and they'll get distracted and they won't end up watching it. And also the videos, having the videos in the little video player there, like, everyone will have 40 minutes of playtime at least, which is good for the statistics.
Right. No, I was just wondering, since you're making these crash courses, I thought that would be something useful in the editor. And you said you always made it so, like, you don't want the user leave the application.
Well, I would have to. I mean, it could be done, but I don't know if it's really worth it in that case. I
Risk
mean,
risk versus reward kind of thing, like or time versus reward.
the benefit. I don't see a big benefit to that.
Right. No, I was just asking. I mean, I'm not upset about it.
It's like having two copies of the documentation to maintain instead of one.
Well, I could just pull the MD file from the GitHub, but
Yeah, but
I understand.
it's const. Yeah. I mean, okay. So I'm making a web browser. I mean, it's
It's
doable. I think this is fine.
right for now, at least.
Um, let's see. So yeah, so like if we called it Leadworks Game Studio, to me that sort of like communicates a much more polished consumer product, perhaps less serious, but and I know some people will look down on that. They'll be like, "Oh, that sounds like a toy for kids." But those same people are the same people that are telling me that, well, Unity has $1 billion. They could make a game engine. They could make their engine faster if they wanted to. They just don't want to. That's
Yeah.
their expert. That's the expert opinion of the self. That's the opinion of the self-appointed experts. And when Leadworks 4 launched, and when I made my trailer and I aimed it very much at beginners, and like I saw some comments from like some people across the internet saying, "Huh, oh yeah, he's making it for kids," and it did extremely well.
Right.
So calling it Leadworks Game Studio, that might be.
It's an option.
I
I mean,
I think it might better communicate like what it is. It sounds like a polished product that for beginners that places a lot of emphasis on learning. That's very much taking responsibility for the user experience.
right. No, because that's like the thing you're trying to sell, right? It's not the like it's no longer the engine's perspective, right? It's that editor, that user interface, that you know, that's your meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
that I
just
think honestly I think the videos are the product, and
yeah,
everything else is just there to support the product. But the like you haven't really connected the value to the end user until you have the videos. Until the yeah,
right,
and that's the whole. So if you don't have the videos, you might as well not build anything because that's the whole thing. How you explain how great everything is, and they come away from that with the knowledge of how to use the program. I think we're gonna have like yeah because of this tutorial series. I think we're gonna have a lot of people who understand the whole program and like at a level that we haven't before. Including I'm sure there's stuff in there that a lot of you guys aren't aware of yet. Still,
the Vertex stuff is stuff I haven't looked into yet. The with the tessellation and everything,
mm-hmm.
but I think that's something didn't I picked up on. I didn't know before while reading.
Yeah, I'm also like I would consider using a publisher for this if I don't get a sufficient number of wishlist ads. And I actually talked to the people who make RPG Maker, some
Mhm.
Japanese company, and I don't know if I consistently notice that RPG Maker is always at the top of the software section, and I don't know if that's just because RPG Maker is what people want, or is it because they have a lot of really strong promotional ability.
Well, also there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it too, because like I said, I used RPG Maker back in the day when you actually had like to pirate it and get like a English patch for it and everything before they sold it to the states.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it. Again, it's before a time where everyone forgot to remember. So I think that's what it
I've
does
never
well.
heard
But
of it until recently.
oh, I used RPG Maker 2000 and 2000
Hmm.
XP in 2003, And yeah, and then I was like 8 years old, and I was like making it was like really easy just make just to like set up just like simple dialogue trees and
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
No, I think there'll be like if they were to agree, I think what they're doing, what you're doing, is kind of like the same thing,
Hmm.
but it's just different. It's just they specify on 2D RPGs because that's what does well in Japan. So
Well, the question is like, what they'll have to convince me of is what can they do for me that I can't do myself.
oh, they can get you into the Eastern marketplace, translating to that.
So I need to give up 50% of my sales for a translation.
Nah, nah. Yeah, it is a good question what they can do for you. So
So we'll see. I think I'll probably like no matter what, I'll just launch it. I'm very curious to see how it does if I just launch it with a video like I described. Um, because I'm really trying to hit like exactly what I think. Everything that I've ever seen tells me that that's exactly what the user wants to hear. So I'm really going to try to focus on that and target it and deliver on it, and we'll see what
right,
happens.
yeah, you gotta also there are people that are just burnt out on whatever engine they're using too, and just having that easy learning curve makes them. It removes this Stockholm syndrome of their previous engine of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Is now a good time to ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Um, so I was wondering, now that the engine automatically pulls up the tutorials instead of the project manager, I'm wondering, am I missing something that shows me when my project is out of sync? Like it automatically opens up and I have to like go to the project manager to see if I need to resync the like engine files, like click the little warning sign and update those.
Okay, so the video browser will you can disable that in the options in the general options. The video browser should appear when the main editor window appears. Um,
Yeah, I just want some sort of indication that goes, oh hey, by the way, your project is slightly out of date with the engine.
I don't think it.
Would
I
you
don't
like
think
to
it.
update?
It never. It never update. It never. The only circumstances under which it opens in the project manager first is if there are no projects listed, or if the or if there's a or if the currently selected project does not match the current version of the editor, then it automatically kicks into the project manager because it assumes that there's probably shaders that need to be updated, so we don't want to start the project with old shaders.
It doesn't do that with me. Like
If the
I
version changes, it does. But
oh
it doesn't just automatically do that if the project is outdated. No.
Yeah, if you're part of the beta, that's probably why you're not seeing it because when you upgrade, you're already on the new version. So it's more for people who stick to the
uh
stable
It's just to
coding.
prevent yeah, it's just to prevent running old shaders with new code because that can cause your driver to crash.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, shaders are a weird thing. I kind of think that they should be built into the source code, but then you also want them to be modifiable. So what do you do? There's not really a good
Mhm.
solution. Is that Hunter?
Is what it is.
Oh, okay. This person I want to. That's the guy who I want to talk to. Any other questions?
Um, nope. I'm all set. Like everything's looking good. I can't. So one thing I do want to touch on for the coding stuff, are you going to just copy and paste the Lua tutorial stuff from Levelworks 4.
Pretty
It
much.
shows you like, yeah, because I think that's handy because I don't use Lua that much, so I was like, oh wait, how do I insert things into a table again? So
Yeah.
I think that would,
And then, you
and
know, together with a video of me, you know, so of me talking about it.
how to do casting and everything. So
Yeah, Poland Let's Play is typing something. When Leadworks 5 demo, probably July, third week of July. Yeah. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I'll end the video now. And always remember, guys, keep developing.